time. Homework time is here. Here we are, Module 1, Lesson 1. Let's dive right in and get some homework rolling here. Okay, so first thing you always want to do is jot down your name and the date. And here's the dealio. I'll put my name and you put yours. How's that? Might as well take the time to do things right, not turn in your homework without your name and date on it. And for the date, you write today's actual date. I'll write today. There we go. Let's read us some instructions. And I'll warn you first, though, this is actually a pretty long and a little challenging homework for the very first lesson. So, strap yourself in and get ready for a little bit of hard work here. Make sure you really understand what you're doing here, because everything in Module 1 all the way through the end of 4th grade math depends on what you do here today. So you can't just kind of skip this mentally. You got to get this mastered for a successful year. Let's do it. Label the place value charts. Fill in the blanks to make the following equations true. So here's the place value chart. There's the equation with the blanks. Draw discs in the place value chart to show how you got your answer, using arrows to show any regrouping. So this is going to take some patience to draw out all of this. Okay, let's start off by labeling the place value chart. This is the ones place. And then we have the tens. Next door is hundreds. And we will be doing lots of this kind of labeling these first lessons, only the first few. It's good to write them out, learn how to spell these words correctly and all of that. If it's worth doing right. And then, of course, the thousands place. All right, so we're kind of keeping it simple here at the same time. Thousands, great. Okay, so then we have to fill in the blanks to make the following equation true. Okay, and draw discs in the place value chart. Why don't we do the place value chart first? I think that'll make the equation a little bit easier for you. Okay, so we have 10 times 4 ones will equal how many ones, which will equal, in this case, how many tens, but we'll get to that. So let's do 10 times 4 ones. So I'm going to draw 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm spacing them out and making them that size for a reason, because what we have to do next is going to require a bit of patience on both our parts. We need to multiply it by 10, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to draw out a total of 10 in each column. And notice I said a total of 10, not 10 more. That would give us 11 in each column. We're multiplying by 10, not 11. So there's 1 there, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And in case you're saying, what is that crazy man doing? I'm multiplying 4 ones by 10, which is what the instructions say to do, 10 times 4 ones. And now for the second one, there's 1 there already, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Told you this will take some patience. We're only on 1A. And then the third one there, there's 1 there already, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And lastly, this fourth one, multiplying by 10, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you can see, we can start filling in the equation. How many ones do I have now that I've multiplied the 4 ones times 10? Well, there's 10, 20, 30, 40. Yes, indeedy do. There are 40 ones. Okay, and now to make things clearer, yeah, give me a second here. I'm going to change colors so that when I bundle them up here, you can see exactly what I'm doing, because this can tend to get a little crowded and even messy. So look, these 10 ones are equal to 110. I'm going to say that again because that is essential to understand. These 10 ones are equal to 110. And likewise, this second set of 10 ones is equal to, you got it, 110. And would you believe it, this third set of 10 ones is also equal to, you guess it, 110. And lastly, this fourth set of 10 ones is equal to 110. And the big thing, so, if your auntie asks you, what did you learn in math today? You'd say, each place value, as you go up a place value, is 10 times greater than the place before it. So tens are 10 times greater than ones. Hundreds are 10 times greater than tens. Thousands are 10 times greater than hundreds. That's really what we're getting at here. That's what this is all about. So you can see it. I multiplied by 10, 10 ones is 110. So 40 ones, and look right at our illustration here, 40 ones, switch back to black here, 40 ones is how many tens? Yes, it is 4 tens. You can see them and count them. So it is 4 tens. Okay. We took our time with 1A there. I think you'll find 1B and C move along a bit more smoothly now that you see how this is done, what they're looking for answers, and how to do it. Let's not hesitate. Move on to 1B. All right, here we are at 1B. Let's start by, as we did in 1A, labeling the place values. So we have ones. And don't skimp and start abbreviating. Let's write these out so you can truly master all this. Tens. And then what? You got it. Hundreds. Check your spelling. And after hundreds, yes, is the thousands place. And just as we did before, let's start with the place value disk and then fill in the missing quantities in the equation. So we're doing 10 times 2 tens, so we'll start by drawing 2 tens, right? No problem, we got it. So there's 1 and there's 2. And now we're doing 10 times those. So I'm going to draw out 10 times. So there's 1 there already. Times 10 is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And same thing with this other one. Times 10 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. So 10 times 2 tens is how many tens? Well, you can see it there. 10, 20, right? So 10 times 2 tens is 20 tens. And this understanding, I know it's a little weird. You're like, what? Perhaps. But if you grasp this, you'll be using this straight through all 19 lessons in this first module and then throughout the rest of the year and into the future as well. So now I've switched to red. You don't have to change colors, but if you want to, you'll have colorful homework like I do, because I see these 10 tens can be bundled up. 10 tens is 100, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 10 tens is 100. So there's my 100. And then these 10 tens likewise are, you got it, 100. So now my 20 tens are equal to Yes, you see. Let me switch colors back now for my writing. My 2010s are equal to 2 hundreds. And in the place value chart, you see why it's worth doing all that work, drawing these cute little circles, is it shows you that 2010s is equal to 200s. Excellent. Now you got it. Let's move on to part C. All right, 1C. Same song, different tune. All right, so let's label the place value chart. Again, I know this might seem tedious. Let's write ones. Which means it gets a little boring. Like, I already did this twice on the same page. Yeah, I know, me too. But this practice is how you get better at things. Ones, tens, then hundreds. You're learning to ride a bike. Just got to keep getting on the bike. Or a skateboard, you want to learn to play guitar, piano. You got to run those scales. You got to finger those chords. You got to get things right. And what comes after hundreds? Thousands. So the repetition of practice when you go to learn a foreign language, you need that repetition and practice to get it down. So let's do that. Okay, now they switch the order of it. So it's 500s times 10, but that doesn't make a difference because multiplication, like addition, is commutative. Do you remember that word, commutative? So you can switch the order of the add-ins or the factors, the number you're adding or numbers you're multiplying, and get the same sum or product. It's commutative. So it doesn't matter that the 500s comes first. So let's draw those 500s. I'm going to draw them in a straight row at the top and kind of space them a little bit because I know I have to bundle them up afterwards. So might as well make life a little easier. There's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 500s. Now I'm going to multiply these by 10. So first with this one, there's 1 already there. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Happy little discs. And then the next one, there's 1 there. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the third of the 500s, there's 1 there. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now the next one, there's 1 there. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the last one, you can do it. There's 1 there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And to make things clear for you, I'll switch to red. There we go. So I'm going to bundle these up now. Oh, let me jump back to black. Back in black, 500s times 10 is how many hundreds? Well, how many hundreds do I have here now? Well, we can skip count by tens. I hope you're not going to go 1, 2, 3. We have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 hundreds. So 500s times 10 is 50 hundreds. That's what we just did. That's what you see before your very eyes in the place value chart. Now I'll go to red and we'll bundle these up. So there are 10 hundreds. And 10 hundreds, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. 10 hundreds are equal to 1,000. And there it is. Isn't it beautiful? And these 10 hundreds likewise are equal to, you got it, 1,000. And once again, we can bundle up. This third set of 10 hundreds is equal to 1,000. And again, this fourth set of 10 hundreds. I told you this can get messy here, and I'm doing my darndest. It is equal to 1,000. And lastly, this fifth set of 10 hundreds wow, it's a rainbow, is equal to 1,000. So now, switch colors again to right. Those 50 hundreds are equal to how many thousands? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 50 hundreds equals 5 thousands. And you actually will hear people in real life talk about numbers in that way. You will hear somebody say, like, if a used car you're buying costs $5,000, they might say, oh yeah, I want 5,000 for it, or 5,200 if it's 5,200. We actually do that. All right, so let's go on to number 2, shall we? Yes, we shall. Number 2, we have to take a little carefully, because this is to make sure, do you really understand this place value schema here? So we want to make sure it looks easy, like, oh, a little fill in the blank thing. And it's not difficult, but we want to make sure we understand what we're doing here. And so our instructions are to complete the following statements using your knowledge of place value. Okay, so in the first one, 10 times as many as 100 is how many hundreds, or we could call it blank thousand. Okay, so picture that place value chart in your mind, all right? You have one disk in the hundreds place, and then you do 10 times as many. How many hundreds do you have now? Yes, you have 10 hundreds. Can you see that? At 10 times 100 is 10 hundreds. And if you have 10 hundreds, you could then bundle those up, and oh, that's equal to 1,000. All right, you got the hang of it. Good. Now they're going to kind of do it in reverse. So 10 times as many as how many hundreds is 60 hundreds, or what could we call that in thousands? Well, let's deal with the first part first. 10 times as many as how many hundreds is 60 hundreds. Well, how many hundreds would I have to have that when I multiplied by 10, I would have 60? Picture 60 discs, right? We just did 50, right? So you can picture 60 discs. What would I have started with before I multiplied by 10? I would have had just 6 hundreds across there, which I then multiplied by 10. So if I start with 6 hundreds and then do 10 times as many, I will have 60 hundreds. Now, those 60 hundreds I could bundle up 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and those would be how many thousands? 6 thousands. So you could even, just to make sure you're really getting this, you could say 6 hundreds times 10 is 6 thousands. You see that? 6 ones times 10 is 6 tens. 6 tens times 10 is 6 hundreds. 6 hundreds times 10 is 6 thousands. Just walking up the place value as you multiply by 10, because each place is 10 times greater than the place prior. Okay, now we have this blankety blank 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 as 8 hundreds is 8 thousands. So based on what we were doing here, we're looking for 10 times, right? That sort of phrasing. Okay, so if you think about it, 10 times what? What do we have to do to 8 hundreds to get 8 thousands? Yeah, it's 10 times as many, isn't it? Okay, so let's write that and then make sure our answer is reasonable. 10 times as many. Well, let's see if that makes sense. Picture 8 hundreds in the hundreds place. Multiply by 10. You now have 80 hundreds. Each group of 10 can be bundled over to 1,000, so you then have 8 thousands. So 10 times as many as 8 hundreds is 8 thousands. Ah, it does make sense. Great, so that's 2A, B, and C. Let's do 2D. Alrighty then. In 2D, it's the same kind of question as we saw in ABC, but then we have to explain how we got the answer. All right, so let's do that. So how many hundreds is the same as 4 thousands? Well, think about it. We'll kind of work it backwards. Picture 4 thousands, and then the arrow's going back to the hundreds place. Let's just think about one of those thousands. That arrow would go back to 10 hundreds, 20 hundreds, 30 hundreds, 40 hundreds is the same as 4 thousands. You see that? 40 hundreds is the same as 4 thousands. And if you are not completely understanding that, when we do our little explanation here, it's going to show you exactly how. So here now we have to draw our own beautiful place value chart. And there's my ones and tens. And I'm going to make, you see what I'm doing here? I'm making my hundreds and thousands a little bigger because I know that's where the action is happening here. So ones, there'll be nothing in the ones and tens place, right? I'm not doing anything there on this one. Ones, tens, hundreds. And again, it's worth taking the time. You'll remember how to spell these words for the rest of your life. You remember the relationships between the place values and base 10 numbers. Thousands. Okay. So if I were to do it, I'm going to do it just the way we did the ones in question 1, A, B, and C there. So I'm going to start off with 400s and space them out there. Give yourself some room because we know what we're going to be doing. 3, 4. Now, if I multiply it by 10, right, to have 40 hundreds, so there's one there, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Told you need some patience for this. And then with the second 100, there's one there, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll multiply this one by 10. There's one there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And lastly, there's one there, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there are the aforementioned 40 hundreds now. Okay, so there's 40 hundreds. And now our job, and I'm going to switch to red here, is to prove that that's the same as 4 thousands. So, okay, there's 10 hundreds bundled up neatly with a little bow is 1,000. And then this makes 20 hundreds bundled up neatly with a bow to make a second 1,000. And now a total of 30 hundreds I've bundled up neatly with a bow to make a third 1,000. And now a total of 40 hundreds I've bundled up, no bow, to make it a 4,000. So do you see now, look, 10, 20, 30, 40 hundreds is the same as 4 thousands. There they are. It's beautiful. Isn't mathematics beautiful? I just want to pinch its little cheeks. All right, well, don't worry. We still have some more to do. It's not over yet. Homework time is not done. Let's go on to number 3. Well, I sure hope you like these word problems because guess what, kiddos? This is how we use math in real life. I doubt you'll ever go to a job interview and they'll be like, what is 10 times as much as? No, they're going to ask you to do math as a part of real life. You'll have to do math as a part of real life. You're painting a wall, you're working on your house, you're putting in the garden. That's why we have math. We actually need it. So this is taking what you've learned and now applying it to a real life situation. Let's do it. Let's read first, then we'll draw and write. Katrina has 60 gigabytes of storage on her tablet. Katrina's father has 10 times as much storage on his computer. How much storage does Katrina's father have? And we will use numbers or words to explain how we got our answer. Okay, well, since we've been doing place value charts here, right, that makes sense to go ahead and do some more of that, all right? So let's go ahead and draw ourselves a little place of value chart. I'm still on red, man. Kill that, go back to black. Back in black. All right, feel better. All right, good. So what do we need for places here? Well, we know we're starting with 60 and we're doing 10 times as much. So we don't have to draw out a big old place value chart. We can get a little skimpy here and just do ones and tens, and yes, our good friend the hundreds. Okay, so we're starting with 60 gigabytes. So if I draw 6 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tens, is that 60? It is indeed. Now to do 10 times as much, I just multiply each of these by 10. It's that simple. So I have one there already. So here we go. We got a lot of circles to draw here. Let's do it. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the second one, there's one there. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the third one, there's one there already, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take a break. Okay, back to work. All right, there's one there already, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's one there already, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's one there already, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, these Eureka Math fiends have no mercy on us. Okay, so now let's bundle these up. All right, so now I'm switching to red. Okay, so I'm going to take these 10 tens, and that's 100, isn't it? And these 10 tens, that's 100. And these 10 tens, that's 100. And these 10 tens, I do my own sound effects. That's another 100. And these 10 tens, that's another 100. And lastly, these 10 tens, that's another 100. And put some arrows on here. Beautiful. Okay. So her 60, 10 times as much, we see once we bundle it up, it's 60 tens, which is 6 hundreds. So we can say, let me switch back to black to write an answer here. And this is something we'll be doing. We read, and then we drew that place value chart, and then we write a response. This is the Eureka Math way. I hope you like it as much as I do. So 10 times as many as, well, what did we start with? 60, right? Which we could also call, let's put this in parentheses here, we could call that 6 tens. Isn't that what we drew? We drew 6 tens. And what is 10 times as many as 60? What did we get there? Okay. It was, look right here. What was 10 times as many? It was 60 tens, wasn't it? And 60 tens, what was that equal to? All of our arrows point to yes. So 60 tens, or we could also call it 6 hundreds. And going on, we can write this out in numbers as well. That 10 times the 6 tens we started with, 10 times the 6 tens. What was that? 10 times 6 tens was 60 tens, right? Isn't that what we had? We started with the 6 tens, multiplied by 10, we had 60 tens. And then those 60 tenths, what were those equal to? Follow the arrows. 600s. Excellent. Now there's one last little step here. To have a complete answer, we have to actually answer the question. Imagine that. How much storage does Katrina's father have? So her father has, well, look over here, 600s, right? Also known as 600, right? 600, and our unit of measurement here is gigabytes of storage. Okay, so you see how these works. It's a little involved, isn't it? All right? But this is called learning, and I hope you love it as much as I do. Let's go on and look at number 4. All right, so number 4, although it's related to number 3, doesn't actually play off it, but we have the same characters in the story. So Katrina saved $200 to purchase her tablet. Her father spent 10 times as much money to buy his new computer. The question is, how much did her father's computer cost? Use numbers or words again to explain how we got our answer. Okay, so let's do exactly that, shall we? So let's draw a handy-dandy place value chart here, and I know I'm going to need some room. See, we're starting in the hundreds place, so I know I'm not going to need much room in the ones and tens, but I will need a bit more in hundreds and thousands. Could have even been a little more generous to myself there. Okay, so ones, tens, hundreds, and yes, thousands. Ouch, gonna have to squeeze it in. Ouch, that hurts. Oh, got it. Okay, so she has $200. That's what we're starting with. So how do I represent that in a place value chart? 200s, 200s, 200, 200s. So 1 and a 2. Her father spent 10 times as much money. So I'm taking those 200s and multiplying by 10. So let's do that. There's 1 there already. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And that second 100, same thing. There's 1 there already. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Great. Now I do see that 10 hundredths is equal to 1,000, so I can bundle these up. Let me do that. So these 10 hundredths are equal to 1,000, and these 10 hundredths are equal to 1,000. Okay, can we see that? And now we can start actually getting to answering the question. Okay, so we read, we drew, and now we will write. So we are going to say, what did we do? We did 10 times. Let's really take our time and do these right. You learn this on lesson 1, it's going to benefit you all year. 10 times as many as 200, right? Which we could write out in unit form. That's called standard form right there. We would say we could also call it, I'll put in parentheses, 200s. Isn't that what we started with? 200s? And then did 10 times as many. And what is 10 times as many as 200? Well, look at your chart. We had 20 hundreds, didn't we? See the 20 hundreds? Okay, so it's 20 hundreds. And once we bundle those up, what did we have? We could say, or 2,000s. Now this is a strong and complete response to this question. And to represent this mathematically, in other words, an equation with numbers, I'd say, and all I'm doing really is taking that sentence we just wrote and putting it into numbers. If I said 10 times two hundreds is equal to what? 20 hundreds, right? Isn't that what we just said? 20 hundreds which is equal to what? Because I'm running out of space, I'm not going to write out the word thousands. 2,000s, I can write that in standard form. Make sure I understand the connection there. 2,000, right? 2,000. And now we have to actually, yes, that's right, answer the question we were asked, which is how much did her father's computer cost? So let's do that. Let's answer the actual question. Her father's computer cost, 10 times 200 is, there it is, 2,000. And we're talking about dólares here, so $2,000. Ooh, that's a pricey little laptop, isn't it? Okay, there we go. Number 4 is done. Let's rock on with number 5. All right, number 5 actually is not that difficult. I think you'll get this pretty easily. This just kind of makes all the connections. It's an important one. So 4 times as much as 3. Yeah, that's actually just asking you what is 4 times as much as 3? What is 4 times 3? It's 12. Okay, so we see that this whole principle extends to other numbers as well. 10 times as much as 9. We can just call that 10 times 9, right? But we're taking 9 ones, making it 9 tens, which we'd write 9 tens as, got it, 90, right? Told you this one was a little easy. Okay, 7 now. We're going to do the same thing we just did in B, but backwards. So we're starting with the answer. 700 equals 10 times as much as, we'll do it backwards. Picture 700s. What did we bundle up in the tens place? Yeah, 70. Okay. So 700 is 10 times as much as 70. And you can read this backwards as well. 70 times 10 is 700. See, and it still makes sense. Now here we have the blankety blank 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 where we have to put in some words, probably having something to do with 10 times as much, yes? 8,000, what's the relationship between 8,000 and 800? Well, 8,000 is more. How many times more? Not how much more, but how many times more? What would you multiply, to do it backwards, what would you multiply 800 by to get 8,000? Picture 800s in your place value chart. To get to 8,000s, you'd have to do times 10. So 8,000 is 10 times, and we're using the phrasing right from above, 10 times as much as 800. Does that not make sense? Yes, indeed, it does. I told you it was a little easier. We're going to wrap it up with number 6 yet. Now, all right, let's go on. Alrighty then, here we are with number 6, and you'll see that this just pulls it all together. A nice way to finish off. So we don't even have to draw a place value chart to get this one. So whew, breathe a sigh of relief. Tomas's grandfather is 100 years old. Impressive. Tomas's grandfather is 10 times as old as Tomas. How old is Tomas? Well, think about it. We're saying 10 times. Let's think and write at the same time. 10 times. Because it says his grandfather's 10 times as old. So 10 times as many as what? Okay, so that's the phrasing we're using here. 10 times as many as what? To get 100. You see it? If 10 times as many as what? As 110 is how many tens? So you're picturing that place value chart in your mind. Okay, you have 110 and you do times 10. You would then have 10 tens. Yes, 10 tens. And those 10 tens could be bundled up with a nice cute little arrow and sent over to the hundreds place. right, or 100. And to put this in mathematical terms, the same thing here. I said 10 times what? 10 times 110, right, is equal to, and this is what we're doing back on number 1 even, is 10 tens. And 10 tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 10 tens equals 100, which indeed is Tomas's grandfather's age there. So how old is Tomas? Tomas, we have to answer the question. How old is Tomas? Tomas is 10 years old. Now, if you were to do this backwards, your answer would not make sense. So when you assess the reasonableness of your answer, you ask, does this make sense? If you did this backwards and said Tomas is, well, 10 times 100 is 1,000. Tomas must be 1,000 years old. That doesn't make sense in many ways, right? So you write that, you say, something's wrong, let me go back. But anyway, you did it. You've completed lesson 1 of Module 1. Big homework here. Pat yourself on the back, give yourself a round of applause and all that. And I'll see you next time when it is again homework time.